My name is Kevin Alexander. I'm 31 years old and I have PKU. PKU is a very rare genetic disorder in which the body cannot properly break down protein. I've had this my entire life. It's become my normal. It may not seem normal to a lot of people what my diet really entails. I have to eat a very low protein diet, which means I don't eat meat. In fact, I've never had a steak. I don't eat chicken, I don't eat bacon, I don't eat cheese, I don't drink milk. This is my normal. This is my life. It's all I've ever known. But I've had a really good life. I've spent the last 10 years in professional video production. I've been a news videographer, a corporate videographer, wedding videographer, pretty much you name it, I've done a video for it. I covered Hurricane Katrina. It was down in New Orleans just 5 days after the storm. I have interviewed numerous celebrities. I've interviewed senators. I've interviewed governors. I've interviewed a lot of different people. If you look at me and you see the textbook medical definition next to my name, 40, 50 years ago, I would have not been able to do any of this, and now I can live a normal, healthy, productive life. I've traveled the world shooting videos. I've traveled the world doing what I love to do. I went to Russia earlier this year and took part in a mission trip with my church there and got to document Siberia in the middle of winter. It was the adventure of a lifetime because I was able to do what I love to do in such an exotic location. My wife and I went to Ireland earlier this year and started shooting part of a web series that we're doing. We've been other places like Yellowstone National Park, we've been to Mexico, we've been to the Cayman Islands, we've been to Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. We've been all over doing what we love to do. I keep referring to me doing the things that I love to do, simply because everything I love about life has been dependent upon my diagnosis with PKU, the fact that it was caught. I didn't choose to have PKU. I didn't choose the family I was born into. I didn't choose the country that I was born into. I didn't choose the time that I was born. But all of those factors just aligned at the right time for me to be born and have a productive and healthy life. Had I been born 30 years before I was born, had I been born into a different family, had I been born in a different country, had I not been diagnosed, had I not always been on diet, and had I not always been on my formula, it is undeniable that I would have been in an institution, that I would have become mentally retarded. And when we say it like that, it's almost hard to believe. Like I said, my condition has become normal to me. I don't ever think about that. For me, it's normal to just, eat differently than everybody else. Other people may have a hard time adjusting to it. I don't. Other people may think it's weird, different. I don't. I'm used to it. But when I think about the fact that my life could have been so different, it's a wake-up call to be thankful, honestly. And that really hit home a couple of weeks ago. I just happened to be surfing the web and came across this video that somebody had done, that they produced. They showed a few patients that weren't diagnosed. And if there's one thing that I love, it's just that, I love intellectual things. I love deep thought. I have accomplished a lot intellectually. I have a bachelor's degree in mass communication. I have a Master of Arts in Theological Studies that I just finished this year. I have tried to keep some daily practices for the last few years of, writing in my journal, just, sitting down and reading a book and really trying to process it, not, because we typically read a book to just assimilate some information so that we can either pass a test or get a promotion in our jobs, but really sit down and try to understand it and learn it and really assimilate it. And I love to do that. I love to sit down and take a book that most people would think is just a textbook and just read it just because it's information, and information is power, and I love it. And to think that had I not been diagnosed, or had I not been treated well, had I not had my formula, that's the key thing, had I not had my formula, even with all of those other factors, even being diagnosed, even being on a low-protein diet, had I not had my formula, I would have ended up like one of those people in those institutions. I wouldn't have been able to write. I wouldn't have been able to read. I wouldn't have been able to communicate at all. I certainly wouldn't be able to do the things that I love to do, like write in my journal every day, or read a book every day, read about theology every day, read my Bible every day, do a video every day, handle a camera every day, simple little things. Play my guitar, play keyboard, play the piano, play anything. Heck, as a kid, I wouldn't have been able to play with Legos.